You will. Awesome. This is the center. Am I centered? All right. Road trips, roller coasters, world's hottest gummy bear. What do any of these things actually have in common with each other? I'll tell you, and it's only one word, and that's discomfort. As said by UFC fighter Conor McGregor, those who seek the uncomfortable will become comfortable. This was the question that I had in my mind coming into this year's project. Which is why I spent the last 3 months making myself uncomfortable every week to see if I could actually experience growth as a discomfortable person. In my speech today, I will be talking about why I chose to do my project, how exactly I did my project, and what I learned from my project. To further explain why I chose to do this project, I'd like to take you all about 6 months ago in my life. This past summer, I was able to go on a trip to Puebla, Mexico, which is the second biggest city in Mexico. This trip was something that I had never done before in my comfort zone. I have never left America until this point. I barely leave New England. I'm a little snail. I'm a little hermit. I just stay in my house. I just stay there and I do nothing. So this was something that was way out of my comfort zone. It was the first time in my life that I even physically been at these altitudes. Puebla, Mexico, 7,000 feet above the sea level. I have asthma. That was physically difficult for me. I'm a little asthmatic guy, dude. That was hard, you know? And also, it was something I'd never seen before. It was the poverty levels. If you look at this, right there, that's most of Mexico. It's just poverty and rural, and it's honestly beautiful, but it's also just really underdeveloped, and it was very interesting. I also embraced a new culture. This was a new culture of food. This was a new culture of language, of art, of music. It was something I'd never experienced before. It was very uncomfortable, but at the same time, I felt like I benefited so much from it. This majorly affected my passions in life. And so when I came into this year's project of what I wanted to do for my senior project, I chose to put myself into uncomfortable situations like Mexico here and see what I could learn from that. I've always had a fascination with the uncomfortable since a little guy. I've always liked pushing my boundaries, seeing what I can get away with, having fun in the process. And so that's just one of the reasons I actually wanted to do this project. So this made me think, right? What does it mean to be uncomfortable in a more applicable sense, right? Because there's more athletic and physical attributes to being uncomfortable, going to the gym for freaking 9 hours a day or something like that. It's not about that. It's what I can do in an applicable sense. And so this is where I came up with the idea of my project, which was to do things that were uncomfortable in a social environment and also a physical environment. Now I'm going to talk about what I actually did for the bulk of my project. My plan coming into this project was to do a minimum of 2 hours per week of uncomfortable things. And this was able to range from, again, physical things to social things. And so, this could go from physical things to, for instance, I did an ice bath. I did a bunch of hikes. I ate the world's hottest gummy bear, which you'll see later. All the way to social things, like just going to a new restaurant by yourself that you haven't gone to before, or just having a conversation with a family member you don't talk to very much, or just auditioning for a school play, something along the lines of that, just socially uncomfortable things. The wider the variety, the better. I would also be doing a large amount of research in this time, about 10 hours of research, that's relevant to the study and psychological benefits of going through your comfort zones, which was very interesting towards the end of the project, which I'll talk about later. On top of both of these parts, I also conducted a bunch of interviews, and specifically one really interesting interview with someone I'll talk about later. Now that you know what I planned to do, I'll talk about what I did for the actual 35 hours. So right there, that was my first roller coaster. I'd never been on a roller coaster before, and I went to Canopy Lake Park, and I just went to the biggest one, because that just seemed like a good idea, and that was that. And honestly, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty fun. I liked it a lot. And that was one thing I did. I ate the world's hottest gummy bear with my friend Ryan Clifford. I will say that was a bad idea. We did that during school. That was during class. I left to do that. I didn't skip, but I just left. We got ice bath. That's my ice bath right there. Ice baths suck, and that's uncomfy, and that's the point of the project. There's me in Mexico. Wait, what? Mexico? There's me in New York, dude. I drove there. I drove to New York. That was part of this. When I said road trips at the beginning, that's what this is. I drove all the way to New York and back, and there's me with the pits in New York, and I look great. And that's awesome. And so those things were only a small portion of my full 35 hours. I also watched a bunch of horror movies, and I've never seen horror movies, period. Nor wanted to. Like, they're scary. And that was uncomfy. And I watched like 10 horror movies. I was also blessed to have a 3-hour-long conversation with my very good friend, Lynn Adams, who is a legend in the racquetball scene. I don't know if you even know what racquetball is. She was the world champion of racquetball from 1980 to 1991 in the women's racquetball. So it's a big deal. I just don't know what racquetball is. But she was really sweet, and she's been like a lifetime friend. She's like an aunt. She's a family member pretty much. And so I had a really good conversation with her where we talked about the benefits to leaving your comfort zone and what that can mean in a career path. Again, in an athletic field. So it's very applicable, but we talked about it in this sense. And it was very interesting. She's saying she never would have gotten to her position on her career without being uncomfortable. But you know what I mean. After 2 to 3 months of finally accomplishing this project, there was many things I was able to take away. At the end of my project, I was able to learn a ton from my research and interviews that I was able to take away not just for myself, but to share with you guys as well. During my research of psychological data between breaking through comfort zones and growing as a person, I found this quote from the Your Thoughts on Law, which I don't have up here, but I'm just going to read it for you guys. It's performance increases as stress increases, and performance decreases as stress decreases. And this was a psychological thing that came out in 1908. And so to think that something that relevant is still here in this day and age, where I had my conversation with Lynn Adams, where she's saying she never would have gotten to the level of success that she got to without the level of stress that she put into that work. Because you can't progress, you can't grow, have personal growth as a person without discomfort. Discomfort is the essence of personal growth. This was just an interesting concept that just really opened my eyes throughout the end of this project. There's just a plain psychological cause and effect. I even myself, personally, by the end of this project, I found that I was feeling better. I personally felt less anxious, I felt less depressed because my life was more colorful, I was trying more things, it was just more, and it felt very new and just uncomfortable, but at the same time, very rewarding. Before this project, I had literally never seen a horror movie. Now I saw a horror movie last week. I just enjoy things. You don't know the things that you could enjoy if you don't try something new. And so this is very applicable. This could be going to a restaurant and trying new food. This could be going to your first roller coaster if you've never seen a roller coaster. It could be watching a scary movie. It's so applicable in your day-to-day life that some of you guys may not see it. So many people live their entire lives without knowing what they're actually capable of. And that's why I challenge you guys, just in general, to challenge yourself more. I challenge you to challenge you. Because you don't know so much about yourself until you actually try things. As I wrap up here, if I could just leave any of you with one sentence, one thing, one word, not one word, but one thing, to leave you with, is that you should embrace the edge. Because discomfort is the essence for personal growth. And that's it. Any questions? Okay, LeBrec.
What was the most uncomfortable thing you did?
Dude, the freaking gummy bear? That oh god, sorry. Dude, that hurt. I never cried from something. I was it's weird. It's you eat it and then juice comes out of your face, all of your face. I wasn't sick, but I felt sick. It was 9 million Scoville units. I'm pretty sure a jalapeno is 700 times smaller than that. So jalapenos are spicy. That was very spicy. Yeah, just for mom.
What's the most rewarding thing that you did?
Probably low-key roller coasters, because I grew up, I was like always way too scared to go on roller coasters. Like I've been to a theme park, I've been to places, dude. I was a kid and I was always scared of heights. Like I had a really bad fear of heights. And like after doing the roller coasters, like I literally went to Six Flags like after that, and I went on like every single roller coaster because I loved it. I thought it was so fun. Like it was just rewarding. Like it felt like a whole like area of my life I've never lived before, dude. Roller coasters, my new passion. Ezra.
What were the horror movies you watched?
I don't want to name them all.
Which one was your favorite?
I was watching a lot of Jordan Peele. I watched all. There's not. I say a lot. There's only 3, but like that was like my first one. And I watched Get Out. That was freaky. Freaking freaky, dude. It was just kind of a downhill. It was just a spiral. It just went down, and it just got worse and more scarier. And I watched them by myself too. I was like in my room in the dark, just watching horror movies for school because I'm an academic master weapon, if you will, if I can say weapon. Anyway, I'm a powerful thing. Any other questions? Yes.
What would you, do you have any plans on doing anything like this in the future?
No. I'm joking, of course I do. I'm joking. I took a while away from this. I've actually been like trying a bunch of foods lately. Like, I don't know, like, again, it's so small. Like, it's applicable things. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, it's not a big deal. Just try new things. Because, like, discomfort, you learn about yourself. Again?
What was that thing you said about auditioning for a play?
I auditioned for a play, and I got the lead role.
Yay!
On accident. No. You should watch the play, actually. I can promote the play.
Yes.
It's February 2, 3, 4. 3, 4.
What is the play?
The play is Clue. Like the board game, but like the play, not the board game. Yeah. Anybody else? You're turning it off.